Hello, and welcome back to our playthrough of Escape Velocity Nova. So it's official, we have wrapped up the Polaris storyline, and now we are on to the Rebellion. And true to form, I'm going to try to make this interesting by trying to swap sides between the Federation and Rebellion as many times as possible. This is a unique feature to the Federation and Rebellion campaigns, where you can kind of, before you're fully committed, switch back and forth between them. A word of warning though, compared to the other four storylines, these next two, the Rebellion and the Federation, are by far the grimmest and the darkest storylines. They may not be appropriate for everyone, so use your discretion if you're going to watch these. They're pretty dark. Alright, so here we have our generic pilot, as usual, Knight of the Red Branch, see if we can get a special dialogue from that, United Shipping's Courier, and access to the Hypergate system, meaning we've done the Sigma Shipyard required missions to get that accolade. Now, the best place to get started with the Federation storyline, and yes, we are starting with the Federation, as I said, we're going to try to swap sides as many times as possible, is by landing on space docks and going to the outfitters. Now, you have to have a certain combat rating before this exact mission appears, but we more than meet that requirement. So, as you wander around the outfitting area, eyeing the selection, you feel a tap on your shoulder and you turn to see a young man with an officious air about him standing behind you. He asks you if you are Ben Arnold, captain of the Pirate's Bounty. When you answer yes, he tells you that you have attracted the attention of Federation port authorities as a responsible and competent trader. He asks if you would be willing to be employed by the Federation to move cargoes to parts of the Federation that need them. Yeah, of course we will. We're going to be a good, upstanding Federation citizen. The Federation official sits down next to you and quietly tells you that the Aurorans have been getting more active along the Auroran Federation border, and in doing so, they have actually caused a shortage of weapon stocks. Your mission is to carry 20 tons of IR missiles to Space Dock 3 to help them replenish their stores. Alright, so pretty simple milk run mission. We just have to go and resupply these various space docks with more munitions. And there are a couple of these. They're your standard intro to a storyline, not super interesting. Dock workers swarm over your craft and loading your cargo in a quick and efficient manner, making sure that the handover of goods to the Federation Navy is a complete success. A man wearing the shoulder pips of a Rear Admiral walks up to you and introduces himself as Rear Admiral Vezier of the Federation Navy. That makes me think of Vesemir from The Witcher. He formally thanks you on behalf of the Federation for your services. He says there will be more missions made available to you in the area set aside for the purchase of ship outfits in the future, which is just a way of saying the ship outfitters. And sure enough, a man in a Federation uniform wearing the shoulder pips of a commander walks up to you and identifies himself as Commander Rabin, Space Dock 3's Chief Supply Officer. He tells you that the Federation needs more war supplies along the Federation-Auroran border to keep up with demand. Are you willing to help? Yeah, sure. We have a shortage of radar missiles on Space Dock 2 in the Tickle system. The Federation has a stockpile of everything we need on the Kane Band in the Sol system. We want you to go and pick up 20 tons of radar missiles and take it to Space Dock 2. Be warned, the Aurorans may have some knowledge of your activities from their spy network, so you might have to deal with some interference. Good luck. I've always found it amusing that there are Auroran spies, seeing as they are they tend to tattoo themselves a lot. And so I know in the Auroran campaign they make note of special makeup they use to hide the tattoos, but they're also like really, really ripped. They're just completely jacked out of their minds. So just be cautious of any ensign or cadet that looks like they could win a weightlifting competition. The dock workers load your cargo in a highly organized and quick manner under the watchful eyes of a few Federation military observers. And, we can just... Oh, right. I had forgotten I'd set up this ship to be a close quarters fighter with some storm chain guns and what looks like 1 or 2 Thunderhead Lances. It's been a while since I played with the generic pilot. I've been so used to playing the Polaris storyline at this point, and man, as much as I do enjoy the Polaris storyline, it's really neat, I am so tired of the Polaris names. This is going to be a welcome break. Dock workers swarm over your craft, unloading your cargo in a quick and efficient manner, making sure that the handover of goods to the Federation Navy is a complete success. Yeah, it's just the same thing. You're greeted by the Space Dock 2 Chief Supply Officer, who introduces himself as Commander Ory'Hara. That's a double F. I'm not sure how you would pronounce that. Congratulations on making it through, he says. We need every bit of help that we can get. After having a bit of R&R, come and meet me in the ship outfitting area if you want some more work. Alright, not much R&R in the space dock, but I think we'll do fine. Yeah, just land and take off. You recognize Commander Fira as he walks in the outfitting area as you browse the selection. He locates you after a quick scan of the room, wanders over, and shakes your hand. Greetings again, Ben Arnold. I have another shipment for you. Interested? Of course we are. This time we have a shortage of the gas used to power many of our laser systems, he says. Funny, I don't think of the Federation as having any laser systems besides the ones you get from doing the Giltechnia missions and maybe the Thunderhead Lances. Those are really the only ones that come to mind. But whatever. Simply put, all we want you to do is pick it up from the Kane Band and ferry it back here. However, once again, we believe that the Aurorans will be on to you, so I'd watch yourself out there. Good luck. I think we can handle the Aurorans, especially considering we have a Fed carrier in the system. Yeah, this is not going to be hard. But it's also not meant to be. This is, of course, an introductory mission. So, yeah, that was pretty easy. One side effect of doing these is you start to be not well-liked in the Auroran Empire, but we're not going to be well-liked there anyway, because we are Knight of the Red Branch, and that affects some of the stuff that happens with your reputation. If you wonder what that means, I highly encourage you to go watch the mini storyline series on the channel for the Wild Geese. The dock workers load your cargo in a highly organized... Okay, this is the same dialogue. We don't need to read that every time. So quick and easy. The Aurorans have not yet brought their full power to bear, nor would they. Yep, same dialogue. Commander Fira waves as you emerge from your craft. Glad you can make it, he says. I hear it got a little hairy out there a few times. No, it didn't. It's a good thing we've got people like you to ship this stuff around for us. We could be in a fair amount of trouble otherwise. Keep dropping by the outfitting area. If I've got something for you, I'll make contact with you there. Alright, simple enough. And enjoy that lovely ambient sound you get from the space docks. I love hearing it. As you enter the outfitting area, you are hailed by Commander Fira from his seat at a side table near the back. After he shakes your hand, you both sit down. It's a good thing you dropped in, he says quietly, because we have another load of cargo that needs moving, and the sooner we get it moved, the better. Sure. It seems that Space Dock 3, back to Space Dock 3, needs another shipment of IR missiles, he confides. I don't know how they managed to go through so many so quickly, but they need another load, and they need it as soon as possible. You know the drill, pick it up from the Kane Band and deliver it to Space Dock 3. Watch out for Aurorans. They seem to be popping up everywhere at the moment. Oh, and give my regards to Rabin. So I do like that you get kind of the feel of these commanders of the various space docks. They're not just nameless people, they all have a kind of unique personality, with one very, very notable example we'll get to meet later. It's a shame that you don't really get to interact with them a whole lot after the initial run-through. But I think that was something that was going to be addressed in one of the total conversion mods that someone on the EVNova subreddit was working on. I'm not sure how development has been going with that, but it was a mod called You're Not Special, and it mentioned having an alternative Federation storyline where it's an actual Federation storyline and not a Bureau of Internal Investigation storyline. Regardless, yep, same unloading dialogue. As you leave your ship, you get a nod of acknowledgement from Commander Rabin. You wander over. I hear things are getting a little rough with all the Aurorans and whatnot, he states rather tiredly. Oh well, it's good that you got through. How's Fira doing? You tell him that he's doing okay and he sends his regards. That's good to hear, he reminisces. Keep an eye out in the outfitting area. It won't be long before we have more work for you. And we're just going to land and take off and do that a couple times. This might be a more generic delay where you actually have to leave the system, so we're going to go and jump out of the system and jump back. Hop on up to Sol. We have a good ability combat rating, so we shouldn't be restricted by that, at least I don't think so. Yeah. So let's try to get that to trigger. Those Aurorans. I would not want to be an Auroran going up against a Velos, though. Alright, so it's being a little bit stubborn. Oh wow, that's a lot of missions here in the mission BBS. So we should take just a quick mission to maybe pass a little bit of time. Yeah, this will be fine. Little Sigma Shipyards mission. Go to the Hannaford system up here and bring it back to Sol. We don't want to go too far afield because I want to keep checking in at this space dock. But regardless, I think there's only Maybe one or two more of these ferrying missions before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of the story. Anyone who has done the Wild Geese storylines are well familiar with that planet. I say storylines because there are technically 3 different branching paths that you can fall into with the Wild Geese. 2 of them see that planet. Alright, so simple little Sigma shipyards run. Nothing interesting. Nothing terribly important. Back to Ory'Hara. And we're just going to ignore all the chaos going on, and sure enough... Alright. When you enter the outfitting area, you see Commander Raven in a seat at a side table near the back amongst various pieces of machinery. He raises his hand in greeting and you make your way over to him. I'm pretty happy to see that you've come by, he says quietly after waiting for a few people to wander away. Because we are still short on the front line and we have another load of cargo that needs moving. The sooner we get it moved, the better. Can I count on you? Of course you can. This time we have a shortage of the IR missiles in Space Dock 5 in the Nurse Secondus system, he says. Simply put, all I want you to do is pick it up from the store depots in the Cane Band and then ferry it over there. However, once again, we believe that the Aurorans will be on to you, so I'd watch yourself out there. Rabin looks over his shoulder and leans a little closer. I should warn you about Space Dock 5's Chief Supply Officer, he cautions. His name is Calvert Smythe. Hyphenated name. Very good family. He affects some sort of superiority complex that includes a bizarre turn of phrase and a ridiculous accent. Watch yourself around him. He's an odd one. So this is the notable example of big personalities amongst the Federation military mucky mucks. I don't know if I'll do the accent. It's pretty silly. Oh, come on, you guys. Not even a challenge. For anyone wondering who's new to the channel why things slow down during combat, I'm just turning off the 2x speed option, which is by default set to caps lock. My computer is not so much of a baked potato that it can't handle some basic dogfighting. Whoops. Got a little bit overzealous on the jump button there, but that's why we have hypergate access. And we'll be in Nurse Secondus in no time flat. Alright, same dialogue. Alright, here we go. Over here, old boy, shrills a short, gaunt-looking older man with a huge mustache. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Calvert Smythe III, and you are Benedict Arnold, I presume. You nod your head, realizing that odd isn't quite the word to describe this man. Annoying would be closer. Bit of excitement out there, I hear, Calvert Smythe continues in his shrill voice, but a bit of dashing gusto and what-ho, here you are. You begin to wonder how anyone could be quite this irritating. I cannot tell you, old chap, he whines, how glad we were when you came through. Things were getting pretty grim around here. With a little daring do, you made it. Anyway, here's your payment. He hands you a credit chip as you try not to wince at his offensive pitch. I might have some more work for you soon. Keep looking in the ship outfitting area. Jolly good show. It occurs to you that the cleaners would probably get annoyed if you left a trail of his remains lying around, so you decide not to attack him today. I imagine it's a, Old English accent. As soon as you see the irritating Calvert Smythe enter, you start desperately looking for a back way out of the outfitter. No such luck for you this day. There you are, old boy, he exclaims in his nasal whine. Looks as though we have a spot of work for you to carrying a few more items over to my old chap Fiera. Interested in a bit more stirring adventure and daring do? Anything to get out of here. That's the spirit, he shrills offensively. It seems that old Fiera is running out of radar missiles, the poor blighter, and it's up to you to save the day. What ho! You are starting to feel a little bit like a cornered rat. Oh, and it seems that the Aurorans are getting onto you, old chap, he continues painfully. They seem to have assembled something of resembling a small fleet to stop you. Not that you would let a few pesky savages stop you from prevailing, eh? Good work, old boy. A bit of adventure, wouldn't you say? Oh, what I wouldn't give to be out there dueling with them, looking the savage in the eye and smelling the breath of the beast. I say, smashing! He shifts slightly, refocusing his attention on you. Anyway, he continues, his voice returning to a mere dull ache. Mustache, good luck, old boy. So it's worth noting that the ATMOS team is Australian, so I have to imagine this is some form of good-natured ribbing at the English Empire. The British Empire, I should say. Gotta say, I don't love the accent myself. There's really no requirement that you actually blow up the Aurorans, but I feel like there's no downside to beefing up our combat rating a little bit. So, you know, it's no harm. And we've already sent them running. Regardless, we're going over to Fira, so the tickle system, or Tichel. Pronunciation is up to the reader's discretion. Alright, dock workers swarm over your craft, same dialogue as always. Commander Fira waves as you emerge from your craft. You don't know how glad I am that you made it, he says. I hear it got more than a little hairy out there. I tell you what, I'm glad we've got guys out there like you who can deliver, come rain or shine. We would be in a fair amount of trouble otherwise, he smiles suddenly. What do you think of Calvert Smythe? You roll your eyes and he laughs. He can be a bit hard to take, all right, he smiles, becoming more serious. The Federation has a few more sensitive missions for you. Go to Seoul and ask for Commander Crane, oh no, in the bar, and they should take you from there. He leans a little closer. Do yourself a favor, he explains in a warning tone. If you have noticed in your travels that the Aurorans aren't building up along our border any more than usual, it would probably pay to keep it to yourself. You know what they say about loose lips. Alright, that's interesting. That implies that they are stockpiling weapons for no reason. And I think we're going to delve a little bit deeper into why when we get into the, as I said, meat and potatoes of the campaign, the content at large. Oh, ATMOS employee. Look at that. Jason Cook. He has this little poem here. If you hail him, that's the only thing he says. But what's really interesting is his subtitle there is Frandl. And we will become intimately familiar with another character in the game named Frandl over the course of this storyline. Alright, I'm going to go to the bar, I believe. You go to the bar and ask to see a Commander Crane. The barman calls over a young soldier who indicates that you should follow him. You are shepherded into a room that has a single spotlight facing the door. I'm sure you can appreciate the reasons behind our security precautions, begins a lovely female voice. It wouldn't do for anyone to find out any more about the Bureau than they already have. Her chair creaks as her weight shifts. As far as you are concerned, I am Commander Crane, she continues. You have proved your combat capabilities, and now we want to test your loyalty. Are you still with us? So this is, you have to say yes for the first couple missions here. So just saying no, it will just drop you from the storyline. It won't actually switch sides just yet. A military team has captured a terrorist red-handed. She shifts her weight again, her chair whining in protest, as she attempted to plant an explosive device near a suburban shopping center. They are currently located in Space Dock 1 in the Gateway system, she continues gently, and I want you to pick them up and return them here, nothing else. You are slightly nonplussed, and you cannot help but think that this is almost too easy. She must have read your face as she continues pleasantly. This one is easy, but don't make the mistake of thinking that any later ones will follow suit, she breathes. This one is just to get you into the groove, so to speak. The real test will come later. You hear a squeal of metal on metal as she swivels her chair away from you. But don't get distracted, she continues dismissively. I don't want you losing your focus from the mission at hand. Alright, so it's just go there, pick up a suspected terrorist, and bring them back. How hard could it be? What could possibly go wrong? Oh, Commander Crane. She is, kind of evil incarnate. But, hey. As soon as you land, you see a team of 4 Federation soldiers leading a bedraggled, apathetic prisoner. After stowing their charge in your cargo bay, the leader of the team comes forward and in a polite tone tells you that they are ready to go any time that you are. Alright, back we go. Oh, you wanna do honorable battle, Mr. Aurorian? Well, you don't have fusion pulse cannons on that ship of yours, so I'm just going to take advantage of my close combat capabilities. Let's do the same with this cruiser. Because if you can get behind them, their turn rate is low enough that they can't do much about it. I want to board it. No. As usual, members of your own faction are oftentimes more of a hindrance than a help because they tend to blow up ships that you want to board. Regardless, off we go. Back to Seoul. Pretty easy first mission, but that's to be expected. You look on as the prisoner is dragged away under heavy guard. The leader of the team you ferried back here comes over and thanks you for your help. He tells you that Commander Crane would like to see you before you go. After asking the dockmaster for directions, you are directed to what appears to be a deserted office. You enter somewhat self-consciously. Come in and shut the door, comes the beautiful female voice of Commander Crane. You hurriedly comply, feeling a little awkward. No trouble, I take it? She asks, and you shake your head, immediately feeling foolish for doing so in the dark. Don't worry, she chuckles. I can see you clearly. Nonetheless, you did good work, she continues more seriously. You will find your bank account a little healthier for your little jaunt, and I am willing to continue your test. If I want your services, I will send someone to wait for you in the bar. Until then, your time is yours. Good day, Captain Ben Arnold. So let's see how much our money goes up. We have 9.92 million credits. Goes up by, oh, would it be 40,000? 40,000 credits? Alright. So now we have, I believe, a generic delay. Let's just jump to the Tekel system and then back and see if that resolves the block. Alright. Let's see. Indeed it does. You feel a tap on your shoulder, and you turn to see a young soldier who indicates that you should follow him. You are shepherded into a room with a single spotlight facing the door. Ah, there you are, begins the lovely female voice of Commander Crane. As you have no doubt guessed, I have something more for you. You hear the familiar creaks of her chair as her weight shifts. Are you still with me? Of course we are. We're so loyal. By now, you should have guessed that you're working for the Bureau of Internal Investigation. She shifts her weight again, her chair whining in protest. The reason I tell you this is to explain the reasoning behind your mission. We are a large operation, and consequently security is a problem, she continues gently. We are continually looking to plug leaks, and we believe we have found one. Apparently, a counterintelligence team has apprehended someone hacking into high-security information, she breathes. They are currently holding this alleged spy on Theor in the Jeffjohn system. Same as last time, I want you to retrieve them. Another thing, she warns. We believe that the pirate organization that calls themselves the Rebels have been sniffing around the planet. So watch yourself out there. I wouldn't want to lose you so early in the testing. Alright. And Jeffjohn is just in general a pretty rough system. If you want a good system to go and try to disable, board, and capture pirate vessels, I can't really think of any better ones in Federation space. It's got 2 planets, so it's plenty of maneuverability if you want to, so you want Theor, I believe it's this one, if you want to just land, take off, and fight. And the fact it has 2 planets means that if you're blocked by the pirates from going to one, you have the other one you can go and land on to reset the system. As soon as you land, you see a team of 3 uniformed men and 1 woman leading a bedraggled and apathetic female prisoner. As she draws closer, you begin to doubt whether this broken woman would have ever been capable of summoning the courage to try to hack her way into protect the system. You shrug, bemused. After stowing their charge in your cargo bay, the leader of the team comes forward and in a polite tone tells you that they are ready to go any time that you are. Alright. So, already we're starting to have some doubts about the veracity of Commander Crane's claims about these so-called terrorists. But you can see in our cargo bay we have C intel, it's counterintelligence. So let's see what she has to say about our work. You look on as the prisoner is dragged away under heavy guard. You cannot help wondering what was done to the woman to change her from a daring spy into a pathetic and spineless shadow. You shake yourself out of your reverie as the leader of the team you ferried back here comes over and thanks you for your help. He tells you that Commander Crane would like to see you before you go. Alright, so go see Commander Crane. You head to the same, seemingly deserted office and once again enter self-consciously. There you are, sighs the wonderful voice of Commander Crane. I was wondering when you would make it back. I guess that everything went relatively smoothly, she asks and you shake your head, testing to find out if she really can see in the darkness. I can still see you, she confirms, chuckling, but it's good to see someone who has got good instincts. Her chair creaks as she shifts slightly. Well, it would seem as though you have made it through part 2 of the test, she continues more seriously. I have already transferred some money to your account for services rendered, and for now, the testing will continue. You are doing well so far, but do not get overconfident. I will send someone to wait for you in the bar if I need you again, she states dismissively. Until then, your time is once again yours. Good day, Ben Arnold. So let's see if we can just get it to immediately fire by taking off and landing. No, so once again we're just going to leave the system and come back. And we are getting close to where we want to switch over to the Rebel storyline. And then we're going to do some really, really quick jumps back and forth. It's going to be a fun time. Fun, by which I mean kind of horrifying. But you'll see. You'll see. Alright. Once again, it is being a little bit stubborn. Yeah, the Federation and the Rebel campaigns are interesting. They definitely, I think, they're probably the most political ones to focus the most on political intrigue, as you would kind of expect. But they're good in their own way. You feel a familiar tap on your shoulder, and you turn to see a young soldier who indicates that you should follow him. You are led to the room with the single blinding spotlight facing the door. Ah, you dropped in, begins the lovely female voice of Commander Crane. Good, I have something that I could use your help on. You hear the familiar creaks of her chair as her weight shifts. Do you still want to continue working with the Bureau? Yes, we do. This mission is a little more delicate, she explains, shifting her weight. But as I'm sure you can understand, we at the Bureau have to look beyond the little people to the people behind them. Occasionally we get lucky, she continues explaining, and we manage, by hook or by crook, to track down somebody who is surreptitiously raising credits to pay for the activities of our various enemies. Apparently, a team of computer financial analysts managed to track down one such person by looking over his accounts and transactions, she breathes. So we sent in a counter-intel team to round him up, and guess what? They need to be retrieved. Go to Kerensky in the Sibco system to pick them up. Once again, she warns, I understand that rebels have been showing up in that area, so take care of yourself. I'm not sure we actually saw any rebels during the last pickup, but if you say so. So it's just over here. I'm surprised that they need us to pick them up because Rigel is actually a Federation Navy planet. I think it's where they have their military academy, if my memory serves me correctly. But regardless. See, I don't see it. Oh, there is a single Rebel Thunderhead. And he has Wraith Eye. Interesting this early in the game that they have Wraith Eye. No matter. Alright. As soon as you land, you see a team of 2 uniformed men and 2 women leading a bedraggled and apathetic male prisoner. As they draw closer, you notice the prisoner's hard, calloused hands. You start wondering about how a supposed financial whiz managed to get the hardened hands of a physical laborer. You feel a couple of suspicions starting to surface in the back of your mind as you head back into your cockpit. After stowing their charge in your cargo bay, the leader of the team comes forward and in a polite tone tells you that they are ready to go any time you are. Alright. So maybe we're not being given the whole story here. And true to form, we are being even more, we are getting even more disliked in the Auroran Empire the more we work for these people. But that is to be expected. So, you know, starting to wonder if maybe we're not doing the right thing here. You look on as the prisoner is dragged away under heavy guard. The suspicions about his true occupation remain, but you remain silent as he is marched off your ship. You shake yourself out of your reverie as the leader of the team you ferried back here comes over and thanks you for your help. She politely passes on the message that Commander Crane would like to see you before you leave. Alright. You make your way to the seemingly empty office. This time you manage to walk in with some self-assurance. Much better, comments Commander Crane on your entry. It is good to see your confidence rising. By the look on your face, I can see that the last mission is causing you to ask some questions regarding what is actually going on. She continues smoothly. Good, that's exactly what I want. Just remember the whole point of these missions is to test your loyalty, and you should do okay. The next few episodes will tell us whether you are with us, she continues pleasantly after a slight pause, or against us. Her chair creaks as she shifts slightly and as you mull over her last statement and its implications. Regardless, you are doing well so far, she praises sincerely. And, as a result, you will find your account a little better off because of it. Keep it up. If I need you again, the usual deal will apply, she states dismissively. Until then, your time is once again yours. Good day. Alright, Commander Crane, you creepy, creepy woman. You feel a familiar tap on your shoulder, and you turn to see a young soldier who indicates that you should follow him. You are led to the room with a single blinding spotlight facing the door. About time you checked in. This is literally the first place we went. Comes the lovely voice of Commander Crane. Obviously, I have found something that I can use to further test how loyal you really are. You hear the familiar creaks of her chair as her weight shifts. Are you still interested in working for the Bureau? Yes, we are. Welcome to Black Ops, she begins. This operation is highly classified. It's only made legal because of our charter, which gives us exceptional powers of arrest in times of emergency. As you are probably aware, the Third Auroran War was never declared over, because, in reality, while the battles in space are over, we are now warring in the fields of politics and intrigue. We've arrested someone who is deliberately undermining our efforts in these areas, she continues explaining. His name is Farron Kurek. You may have heard of him. You remember something about him being a political activist on the news vids? We can link him to any number of enemy intel agencies, she breathes, and in the last few weeks he has been calling into question our very charter. We want to check him out thoroughly. Go to Lodestone in the fire system to pick him up. Be warned, she says seriously. We believe that he has ties with the rebels, so you can expect them to try to stop us from talking to him. Alright, and this is probably going to be the last episode for this mission because we are coming up on time. But we are now an official Black Ops agent for the Bureau. It is worth noting that this game did come out in 2001, so there are some perhaps intentional references to the United States Patriot Act in terms of special powers in times of emergency. At least that's what it reminds me of. You barely recognize the hunched, sad-looking figure as Farron Kurek from the news vids. As the counter-intel team brings him past you, he looks at you out of the depths of his misery. I hope you're proud of yourself, mumbles. You shrug. While you remain unsure about the morality of the tactics used by the Bureau in this spy war, you are worldly enough to know that in war no one is innocent, and sometimes certain actions which would normally be abhorrent are necessary. You are also beginning to realize that Crane is deliberately assigning these missions to you, and possibly even lying about their very nature to see how far you are willing to go. So far you are unsure as whether or not this is your thing. You get the feeling from the way these missions have been ramping up that you'll have to make your decision soon. After stowing Mr. Kurek in your cargo bay, the leader of the team comes forward and in a respectful voice tells you that they are ready to go anytime you are. So as I said, these are some of the Federation Rebel storylines, the two darkest storylines, definitely. I think most notably because you do some terrible things, and depending on which storyline you pick, your character enjoys them. Which you should, I think, and the game intends you to find kind of horrifying. You look on as Farron Kurek is dragged away under relatively light guard. Your questions regarding the tactics used by the Bureau in this war remain. But for now, you've continued to stay loyal to the Bureau, but you get the feeling that crunch time is not too far away. You shake yourself out of your reverie as the leader of the team you ferried back here comes over and thanks you for your help. She politely passes on the message that Commander Crane would like to see you before you leave. Once again, you make your way to the seemingly empty office, this time walking in confidently. Welcome back, comes the beautiful voice of Commander Crane. Another successful mission. Things are looking good. It looks as though I may have to step up our timetable for someone as worldly as yourself. But so far you performed admirably, she praises you smoothly. I only really have one remaining question as to the level of your loyalty. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait until the right moment presents itself to test you for it. But for now, you're free to do your own thing. If I need you, I'll make contact with you in the bar as usual. You will find a significant sum of money has been transferred into your account. Enjoy yourself, Ben Arnold. Sure enough, we do have a pretty significant chunk of money there, I think 75,000. But that is what we're going to call the episode here. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of the Rebellion storyline. Trust me, we will actually start doing Rebellion missions soon enough. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you stick around for the next one. If you like something in particular, why don't you leave a comment, let me know what it is. But regardless of what you do, until next time, I hope that you have a good one.